Good afternoon, everyone. This is meteorologist Shane Hinton hopping onto Facebook Live and our other social media platforms in order to give you an update on that forecast as we are tracking a cold front that will be bringing the possibility for some storms to central Texas. We're going to get started in the next couple of moments, but I do want to make sure my microphone's working, so I am monitoring the comments on our Facebook Live. Let me know if you can in fact hear me and where you are tuning in from. Hi there, Linda in Northeast Austin. Hi there, Amber in Bastrop. I hope you're doing well. What you are currently taking a look at is the Storm Prediction Center, or the SPC's severe weather outlook. This is for Tuesday, but it's really Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. As you can see, if you've been following our updates, how the level 2, that area in yellow, has been extended a little bit further to the east, which means it now includes a majority of the I-35 corridor, including Austin. Let me hop on the screen so I can say hello to you here. Hi there. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're tuning in live, the time is 3:04 on this Tuesday afternoon. We have that cold front moving in tonight into Wednesday morning, so we are set up for a very active overnight period. Now, if you are someone who is kind of nervous about those overnight storms, you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention and also have some way to receive weather alerts. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but let's take a look at what we're currently tracking. Right now, nothing on the Doppler radar. It's a bit of an overcast, muggy kind of day. Temperatures still sitting anywhere from the lower to mid 80s for a majority of central Texas. No rain pulling up on the radar just yet. I've been reading some discussions from the National Weather Service about how there might be a light isolated sprinkle here or there, but no significant rainfall that we're tracking as of now. That will change, though, as we go into the overnight hours. Let's take a look at the satellite radar across the entire state of Texas. You can see that cold front hasn't even made its way into northern Texas yet. In fact, it's all the way out closer to the Four Corners region as it is moving its way through New Mexico. It doesn't look like it has a lot of energy to it now, but it will kind of pick up momentum as we go into the overnight hours. Let's take a look at what we're going to be tracking as we go overnight into your Wednesday morning. Now, some of this we could still be dealing with for your Wednesday morning commute, or if you have Wednesday morning travel plans, you're going to want to listen up. Okay, let's start with tornado threat. That's a question I get all the time. I get asked about tornado threat and I get asked about hail threat. Tornadoes, the threat is going to be low, not non-existent, but on the lower end. The two probably main threats we're going to be most concerned with and focusing a majority of our time on are going to be the possibility of hail and also strong damaging winds. We're talking gusts up to 60 miles possible for some of these isolated stronger storms or potential supercells. In regards to flooding, I know we had flooding concerns with the last real big batch of storms that we had move through. That will not be as much of a concern for this round of storms. The reason for this, well, we haven't gotten a significant rainfall in a while, on top of the fact that our grounds are not saturated, and also this cold front is expected to move through pretty quickly. Now, because of that, we shouldn't have heavy downpours sitting over an isolated area for a long period of time. There has been some discussion with the National Weather Service how we could see a little bit of street ponding, especially for some of our eastern counties. That's because that's where some of the highest rainfall projections are. I'll show you that in just a second. Let's start with those current winds and gusts. It is a blustery day across central Texas. In fact, I'm still seeing gusts up to 26 miles per hour up there in Burnett. We're seeing near 25 mile per hour gusts in Austin. Just to help give you a friendly reminder about this graphic, the numbers you see in white, those are sustained winds, so winds that are consistently blowing. Numbers that you see in gold, those are gusts or strong bursts of wind. We're going to hold on to breezy conditions for the rest of the afternoon into the evening. It will pick up the closer that cold front gets. And once that cold front moves through, it's still going to be breezy. It's just going to be breezy from the other end. So while right now we're seeing gusts from the south and southeast, expect them to shift out of the north and northwest tomorrow, and that means we're going to be getting drier and cooler air. I'll show you how cool during the 7-day forecast in just a moment. Let's take a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere and what we're going to be tracking. We have that cold front that moves in late tonight, early Wednesday morning. Winds, hail, isolated tornado threat. Those are the top three concerns for you. Notice how quickly it moves out of here. The National Weather Service has said that there is pretty high confidence in regards to this storm timeline. So that's good news. That means there is a little bit more uniformity in regards to the forecast models in regards to the timeline. Now, in regards to the specific severe weather threat, The Storm Prediction Center has put the potential for the strongest storms, I-35 west. However, the highest potential for rainfall totals out towards the east. So that's why everyone needs to be weather aware this evening into tomorrow morning. Now notice that for those of you that have been missing that fall weather, we're talking lower dew points, cooler, crisper mornings, and afternoon highs that aren't muggy. You're going to love what we have in store for the rest of the work week after tomorrow through your Halloween weekend. Let's take a look at the future radar. Let me hop on over here to the Facebook comments just to see if we have any questions just yet. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions. I see Tricia, I see your question about Cedar Park. Kim, you're also there in Cedar Park. Let's show you on the Futurecast where each area can expect and kind of a specific storm timeline for everyone. We're going to start in the hill country. These storms move in from west to east, very similar to what we saw with that last batch of storms. Around 3 o'clock is when we could expect a few rumbles of thunder to start moving into the hill country, okay? That is going to be affecting you. You might even hear a few rumbles of thunder, obviously, before the storms arrive. You can hear it out in the distance. We're talking anywhere from that 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. window for things to start for the hill country. Notice that it pushes to the I-35 corridor, where this particular high-resolution forecast model wants to have those storms falling apart a little bit. But notice this. Between the windows of 3 to 6 a.m., 3 to 7 maybe for some of those lingering storms for I-35. Notice that as we go from 7 onward, it looks like the storms get a little bit stronger. I think that's why the heavier rainfall totals are as you make your way out towards the east. Now have no fear, even though this could be a little bit annoying for your morning commute, notice how quickly it clears up. We're talking by around 10:30, 11. Hopefully by lunchtime, we have those storms out of the KVUE viewing area and pushing out towards the east, and we're going to be left with cooler and breezier conditions for your Wednesday afternoon. Let's take a look at those wind speeds as well. This forecast model is showing you forecasted wind gusts, so those strong bursts of air. Notice that even around 1:30 in the morning, before the front officially arrives, we still had that tight difference in pressure between the other side of the cold front and beside the conditions we have on our side of the cold front, and that difference in pressure helps to increase the wind speed. Notice the flows coming from the south-southeast, but it changes as that front moves through. The winds look a little calm near the front itself because you have winds coming from 2 different directions. Notice it starts to pick up as that front successfully pushes out toward the east. Then we're looking at gusts still up to 30 miles per hour for the hill country, and then that 30 miles per hour plus wind speed or wind gusts kind of get spread out throughout the entire viewing area. Now earlier in this stream, I was talking about how we could see gusts of 60 miles per hour. That's going to be in your strongest storms, okay? That is not going to be felt widespread. Right now, we're thinking more widespread gusts from 25 to 30 miles per hour, or a little bit more fair game for the KVUE viewing area and for Central Texas. Let's take a look at that rainfall forecast. It's changed a little bit without the past couple of days, but nothing crazy here, okay? Our soils are not saturated. In fact, if you recall, that last batch of good, strong rain that we received was before weekend 1 of ACL. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks. We have some drier ground that we're working with. The bulk of this rain is going to be received Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That 80% chance that we've got for rainfall on Wednesday is for the first half of the day, and it is looking bone dry for the rest of it, you guys. Highest rainfall totals out towards the east, we could see around or a little bit higher than an inch for some isolated spots. The National Weather Service mentioned how there could be some isolated pockets of 2 to 3 inches, but I think these are going to be very far and few between. Notice that areas along and west of I-35, we're talking 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. Okay, so this is certainly welcomed at this point, seeing as we're not going to be too concerned with flooding. Humidity, day by day. It is muggy out there, and it has felt muggy for the past several days. The good news is this cold front will bring relief to that muggy factor and to all that humidity. In fact, those dew points plummet into the 40s and 50s, and they're going to be sitting there for the next several nights and the next several days. So we're talking about cool mornings. Feels like fall. It'll feel a little bit more festive with Halloween right around the corner. Notice that our forecast models want to show it climbing as we go into next week. But you know what? we get through Halloween with some nice fall-like weather, so I'm not going to be complaining here from the Weather Center. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. What we're tracking, temperatures will be dropping into the mid to upper 70s for tomorrow, and they keep cooling off from there as more of that cooler air from the north starts to filter in. We're talking highs possibly in the mid 70s for Friday. Something worth noting, look at some of these wind speeds. Gusts to 25 to 30 miles per hour, sustained winds from the north and northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. These days, we are going to be concerned with elevated fire weather conditions. When you have strong winds, plenty of sunshine, and low relative humidity, which comes in hand with low dew points, you have elevated fire weather concerns, which means if a fire were to start, it gets spread easily, then we obviously have a problem on our hands. So while we're going to be monitoring it the next several days after this cold front moves through, because those breezy conditions are going to last, not just Wednesday, not just Thursday, but possibly into Friday as well. So continue to monitor any red flag warnings or fire weather watches that are put into effect. Right now, there are none for the KVUE viewing area, but there have been some areas in the Rio Grande and the Edwards Plateau that currently have red flag warnings in effect because they are going to be tracking those elevated fire weather conditions. So let's hop on here over to the comments. I want to make sure I am addressing any questions. Let's see. I'm pulling up the comments here, you guys. Or at least trying to. Let me pull them up on my phone. That way it'll be a little bit easier for me to read. Technology today, am I right? I think I saw some question about pets. So yes, I would make sure that we bring our pets inside. In regards to hail, I was mentioning that that's going to be a possibility, some of which could be on the larger side. So if you have the ability to bring your car under a carport or in a garage or a parking deck, I would strongly encourage you to do so. I'm seeing a few questions here from folks asking about specific areas that may have just hopped onto this call. Let me go ahead and go back to the Futurecast, so that graphical depiction of the storm timeline, so everyone can kind of hone in on their specific neighborhood. The way I break up this storm timeline is Hill Country, I-35 corridor, and eastern counties, because the way that these storms and this line of storms is going to stretch, that's just the best way to break apart these this forecast. So let's jump through the evening. We're talking 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. That's when we could start seeing things pick up significantly for the Hill Country. It goes from about 3, I'd say, to 3 to 6 is what it's looking like for the Hill Country. And then anywhere from 5 to 7 is what we're looking for the I-35 corridor. And then as you make your way from 7 to around 9 or 10 in the morning, that's when we should finally get those storms pushing out east, out past the coastal plains. Okay? Hopefully that helps to answer some questions. Let me hop on over here to the Facebook comments, help answer any questions that we might have. Out east. Oh, got to turn the volume down. Okay. Alex, any chance of wind this afternoon? The wind is going to remain for this afternoon. Yes, so that is a given. Let me go ahead and pull up the threats again just to show you what we're going to be tracking for those of you that just hopped on. Jessica asking questions about thinking, will flights at 6 a.m. be affected? I think it is a strong possibility that some early morning flights could be impacted by this storms, just because of the fact that the National Weather Service is pretty confident in this storm timeline. So that's a great point that you bring up. If you do have plans or flight plans for early Wednesday morning, make sure you are checking in with your airline provider. Keep checking your emails, keep checking the apps that you're utilizing, because I would not be surprised if there were some flight delays. Now keep in mind, it's still going to be breezy on the back half of this cold front, so there could be some delays that's caused simply by the windy conditions. I don't think we'll get cancellations due to the wind, but I think it is worth noting that you could possibly see some delays for the morning just due to the timeline of these storms. Okay. Harley, your question saying, any chance that these storms kind of die off before reaching the hill country? So that's a great question. Right now, the models have been pretty consistent in regards to keeping them together. In fact, there hasn't been a lot of change from yesterday's model runs during our shows to today's, which means they're pretty confident. A lot of them, the various different models, are showing a very similar timeline. So I do expect these to stick together, unfortunately. But as I mentioned, the good news with this particular line of storms is that it's expected to move quickly through the area. Okay, so if you're out in the hill country, you know, you get a little bit of a light show, unfortunately, and some rumbles of thunder, I'm sure, strong winds. Not saying you shouldn't take this seriously, but the good news is it happens overnight. Hopefully, if you're able, you're able to sleep through it soundly, you'll wake up in the morning and it will be out of your neighborhood, okay? Now, earlier in the stream, I was talking about having some kind of way to get weather updates. We'll have Chief Meteorologist Erica Lopez in the building this evening, providing you with an update to your forecast on air and online like I'm doing right now. If there were to be any severe weather that happened overnight or into the early morning, we would hop on to our broadcast in order to give you updates. We also suggest and encourage you to download the KVUE News app. It is free to download in the Google Store and in the App Store. If you enable your location services on that app, it will alert you if you have any severe weather in your neighborhood, okay? The way, whenever it enables the location services, it helps to kind of detect where you are so it can alert you of warnings for your specific area. Now, also, I do believe that this event will go from overnight into your morning commute or morning hours on Wednesday. Therefore, KVUE Daybreak, we start at 4:30 in the morning. That will be a pretty active time, or could be a pretty active time, for areas along the I-35 corridor, residents of Austin and eastward. Okay, so you'll be able to get updates on air as well. We're also continuing to update our weather blog and weather article that's breaking down the forecast and the storm timeline for you. We update it as soon as we get any updates here in the Weather Center. That's located on KVUE.com, okay? Okay, Chris, you're asking wind forecast for tomorrow. So winds for tomorrow are still going to be on the breezy side. Let me pull up that. Let me pull up the 7-day for you. It has the numbers, your highs, your lows, and your winds on it. Okay, so in regards to temperatures, we're talking mid to upper 70s. In regards to wind, they should have officially, by the afternoon, shifted from the west and northwest. Sustained winds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts up to 30 miles per hour will be possible. Okay, and we're going to hold on to breezy conditions not only Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday as well. Okay, hopefully we can get it to taper off by Friday because I know we have to be pretty cautious with those elevated fire weather conditions. And I know people maybe have some outdoor festivities for Halloween weekend or some fall-like festivities, and they want to be able to enjoy it outside without getting blown away, okay? They have great weather to fly a kite if you, if you like flying kites during fall. Let's see. So yes, so hopefully, Chris, that answers your question. Wind gusts 30 miles per hour for tomorrow. Do we have any other questions? As I mentioned, we're going to be providing updates on air and online all through the evening, all tomorrow morning. We are going to be here to walk you through it step by step, hour by hour. So you're not going to be alone in this. We just want to make sure you are given a heads up on what you can expect since it is an overnight event. I hear all the time from viewers, and I 100% understand it can be pretty scary whenever those storms move in overnight. You can't see everything. All you can do is hear, and that can be a terrifying experience. So we want to make sure that you know and you are aware that we are with you every step of the way, and we have a team working on this around the clock, okay? Laura asking if I can show the radar and timing again. Sure thing. I can pull that up for you. Current rate, I'm not going to show you current radar if that's okay, just because there is nothing on it right now for us in Central Texas, but I will pull up that future radar for you. Just let me load it up. Okay, here we go. We're holding on to mostly cloudy conditions throughout the rest of the day. If you have any dinner plans for this evening or any early evening plans, you're good to go. It'll be breezy, so if you're sitting outside, just be prepared for that. I've got about a 10% chance for an isolated shower just due to all that moisture we're seeing moving in from the south. Notice that this window between probably like 9 to midnight is almost like the calm before the storm in a way. It's almost that transition period between the the shift with air from the south versus that air coming in behind the cold front. As we make our way to the 3:30 time frame in the morning, Wednesday morning, hill country. As we go anywhere between 5 and 7, we're talking I-35. And then as we make our way from 7 through about 9, 7 to 9, 7 to 10 o'clock in the morning, you see it clearing up for the rest of the day. Okay, so that's your storm timeline for now. Once again, reminding everyone of the severe weather outlook and what areas need to be on alert. This is from the Storm Prediction Center, so they are responsible for issuing alerts for areas throughout the entire country on who needs to be aware of who needs to be aware of who has the highest severe weather threat. Right now, for the KVUE viewing area, that's along I-35 out towards the hill country. Now, it's worth noting that the highest severe weather threat is north of us. So notice that is just west of Dallas, stretching all the way into Oklahoma. Okay, the area you see in that orange, that's a level 3 out of 5 or enhanced risk for severe weather. That's where we'd be more concerned with the supercells and the tornadic activity. It's closer to the center of that low pressure system or the bottom of that trough. Sometimes those white lines that we show you on the maps, that's indicating kind of like your upper levels of the atmosphere and the pressure levels. If we have the trough, that's typically where our severe weather and our storms kind of fire up. So areas that are north of us are closer to the base or bottom of that trough, and we're kind of separated from it a little bit. Hopefully it stays that way, and that therefore the most severe weather would stay to our north. But we want you to all be aware of this, because if there were to be any shift in the severe weather threat, we'd want you to be prepared for it. So what you need to know, if you're tuning into this right now, if you have anything, any loose debris, any plants, potted plants out in the yard, any loose equipment, your trash cans, if tomorrow's trash can day for you, bring it inside. You'll want to be aware of it for the next several days, because gusts of 30 miles per hour could easily blow your trash can over. So just make sure you're kind of aware of that. Bring the car in if you can, since we do have that hail threat, and you'll be good to go. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. I don't think I'm seeing any other questions, so I will let everyone go for now. Once again, just reminding you that we will have updates on air online as well. Chief Meteorologist Erica Lopez will be on at 5 o'clock for the first of our evening broadcasts with an updated look at your forecast. Until then, I hope you stay safe, stay smart, most importantly, stay kind, and I will see you all again on the next one. Have a great evening.